You ate at 7:30. Chicken, whatever else was in the fridge, and you finished the last of it standing at the counter with the plate in your hand. The lamp goes off at 11:40, and then you do something you did not used to do. You roll onto your left side, on purpose, and you settle your shoulder into the mattress and get your arm out of the way. Because somebody told you to. Your daughter sent you a video. Or you read it in a magazine at the dentist. And the gist of it was that the left side is the good side. Better for your stomach. Better for your heart. Something about your brain draining while you sleep. So, there you are at 11:40 at night, lying on your left, feeling like a man who is doing one more thing right. 24 minutes from now, you are going to roll onto your right side, and you will have no idea it happened. Some of what you were told is true. One piece of it. And it is a bigger piece than you would think. Some of it belongs to a different explanation entirely and got the credit anyway. And one part of that list has never been true at all. And it keeps getting repeated because it sounds like it should be. Tonight we go through the whole thing. Not the list. The night. 6 hours from now the room starts getting light. And you open your eyes. And you are not going to be lying where you thought you were. That happens to everybody. And it changes what you should actually do about any of this. Dinner was 4 hours ago. It is still in there. Start with that. You just rolled onto your right side. Nothing woke you. Nobody touched you. Your body got warm on one hip and came up out of a deep stage into a light one. And while it was up there, it made a small adjustment, the way it has 10,000 nights before this. 24 minutes on the left. That was the whole run. Now here is what you are lying on top of. Your insides are not a matched set. Nothing in there was built in pairs the way your arms were. Your liver is a 3-pound piece of meat sitting almost entirely on your right. Your heart sits a little left of center. And your stomach, the part that matters right now, sits well over on your left side, tucked up under the bottom of your ribs. Picture a bag with the opening off to one side instead of in the middle. That is closer to the truth than the smooth oval you saw in a diagram in high school. Your esophagus comes down through your chest and joins that bag at the upper right corner of it. That corner is the door. Everything else is bag. Tilt the bag toward the corner with the door. And what is inside runs to the door and sits against it. Tilt it the other way. And the contents slide down into the deep part. And the door ends up above the waterline. That is the simplest way to see it. And it is most of what is going on. On your right side, that door spends the night underwater. On your left side, it spends the night up out of it. You do not need heartburn for this to be happening. That is the part people have backward. They figure if nothing burns, nothing happened. Plenty of nighttime reflux never wakes a soul. It shows up the next morning as a sour taste, or a throat that feels scraped, or a cough for the first hour of the day that you blame on the furnace running dry. Those can come from a dozen other things too. Allergies and dry air and whatever else. But when they show up alongside burning at night, reflux is worth putting on the list. Now, why does any of this land at 60 when it did nothing to you at 35? There was no switch on your 50th birthday. What happens is that several separate things drift in the same direction over the same 20 years. And they stack up on each other. The muscle at the bottom of your esophagus, the one holding that door shut, gets a little looser at the job. For a lot of people it does. Not everybody. And the research on that is messier than you would expect. A hiatal hernia, where the top of the stomach slides up through the opening in your diaphragm, gets very common past 50. Most people who have one were never told. because nobody went looking. Overnight, you make almost no saliva. Almost none. And saliva is doing real work down there. Because swallowing it is what neutralizes what came up and washes it back where it belongs. At 2 in the morning, you have hardly any, and you are not swallowing much either way. And your esophagus squeezes a little slower than it used to. When something does come up, it takes longer to get pushed back down. Small drifts. None of them worth noticing on their own. Same dinner. Same bed. Same right shoulder you have slept on since the 1980s. At 35, that combination did nothing. At 62, it does. So does turning left fix it? Left side sleeping has the best evidence of anything on that list you were sent. And it is still modest evidence. A handful of studies, most of them small, generally showing less acid sitting in the esophagus overnight compared to the right side or the back. Worth knowing. A long way from proof that every man over 50 needs to retrain how he sleeps. It may reduce what is happening. It does not cure anything. And if you are burning most nights of the week, or food is catching on the way down, or you are dropping weight without trying, sleeping position is not your answer and never was. That is a conversation with a doctor, and it should not wait on a 7-night experiment. One more thing about tonight, and it has nothing to do with which shoulder you picked. You ate at 7:30 and the lamp went off at 11:40. 4 hours and 10 minutes. That gap may be worth as much to you as the side you chose. Maybe more. Push dinner earlier and you gain something no pillow arrangement can hand you. Eat at 9 and lie down at 10. And even the better side may not be enough. Because that bag is full and the door has work to do either way. Acid is not the only thing that shifted when you rolled over. Your tongue shifted too. You came back to your left side around 1:30. Nobody told you to that time. You just went. You have been here 40 minutes. And the sound in the room has changed. Your wife noticed. She has been listening to you sleep for 31 years, and she can tell without coming all the way awake. It got quieter. It got smoother. She rolled back over and went under. Here is what moved. Flat on your back. Your tongue and all the soft tissue in the back of your throat are hanging off the front of your body. And gravity pulls every bit of it straight down toward your spine. Straight into the tube you breathe through. The tube narrows. Air has to move faster to get through a smaller space. That tissue starts to flutter. And the flutter is the noise she has been living with. Turn onto your side, and the same tissue falls sideways instead of backward. The tube opens back up. The noise drops off. Now the question that list never asked, did the left side do that? Or did getting off your back do that? Getting off your back. Nearly all of it. Your right side opens that airway the same way. So, does your stomach? For the few people who can stand sleeping face down. Your tongue has no idea which shoulder is underneath you. It only knows whether it is falling backward or falling sideways. That is the sleight of hand in every version of this you have read. Somebody measured what happens when a person stops sleeping on their back. And it got written up under the heading of left side sleeping. The benefit is real. The credit went to the wrong place. Your stomach cares which side. Your airway cares that you turned at all. Which is worth knowing before you spend 3 weeks training yourself onto one particular shoulder for a reason that turns out to be your throat. Now the harder part of this chapter. And it matters more than anything else in it. Quieter is not fixed. Snoring and sleep apnea are cousins. And they are not the same problem. Snoring is noise. Apnea is your airway closing far enough that you stop moving air. Over and over. For seconds at a stretch. All night long. Every time it happens, your body hauls you up out of deep sleep just enough to open the thing back up, and then lets you drop again. You do not remember any of that. What you remember is being tired at 2 in the afternoon for no reason you can point to. There is a version called positional apnea, where the closing happens mostly on your back and eases off on your side. It is real. It shows up more often as people get older. And for some of those people, sleeping position is a legitimate piece of the plan, sometimes a big piece. For plenty of others, it barely moves anything. And the only way to find out which one you are is to get measured. A sleep study can tell you, your bedroom cannot. So, if the person beside you has ever said you stop breathing at night, that is not a complaint about noise. Take it in and do something with it. And if you are already on a CPAP, do not let a quiet week on your left side talk you into leaving that machine in the closet. That thought crosses a lot of minds around week 3 of feeling good. The machine is holding your airway open with pressure. A pillow is holding it open with luck. An hour from now, you are going to wake up. Your breathing will have nothing to do with it. Your eyes are open, and you do not know why. The room is dark. The fan is turning. Nothing happened. The dog did not bark. Nobody called. And there is no good reason for a man to be awake at 3:10 on a Tuesday. Then you notice it. You can hear your own heart. Not fast. Not pounding. Just there. Right up against the ear that is pressed into the pillow. Steady and close and louder than it has any business being. And you lie there listening to it. And somewhere in the back of your head, a small thought starts up. Should I be sleeping on this side? Let me take that one off you right now. Because this is not the hour for suspense. Your heart is not being crushed. It is not squeezed. It is not working harder because you came back onto your left shoulder earlier tonight. Your heart lives inside a cage of bone. The ribs are there for this exact reason. And they do not fold because you lay down on them. Whatever you weigh. That rib cage was carrying it fine when you were on your back. And it is carrying it fine now. What changed is distance. The tip of your heart, the bottom point of it, sits toward your left side. Come on to your left, and that tip settles a little closer to your chest wall, closer to the ribs, closer to the ear on the pillow. Same beat it has been keeping all night, with less between it and you. You are not hearing a problem. You are hearing a shorter trip. This is exactly why a technician turns you onto your left side for an echocardiogram. They want the heart closer to the surface. It is not a warning. It is geometry. People run into this in the first week of trying to change sides. And it scares some of them right back to where they started. They have been carrying that heart around for 60 years without noticing it once. And then one night, they notice. And the mind does what the mind does at 3 in the morning. Now let me be just as straight about the other direction, because that list overshoots just as hard the other way. Sleeping on your left side does not take the load off your heart. It does not improve your circulation. It does not help your heart pump better. And it has never once prevented a heart attack in anybody. Those get said constantly, and there is nothing underneath them. If a video tells you a sleeping position protects your heart, that video wants something from you. There is one real exception, and it belongs right here. Some people with heart failure cannot settle on their left side. Not will not. Cannot. They lie down on that side and breathing gets harder. And they end up back on the right without ever making a decision about it. This shows up often enough that doctors know to ask about it. If that is you, your body already voted. Do not argue with it because of something you read at the dentist. And I want to be clear about the difference between two things, because they are not the same size. new shortness of breath when you lie flat, or needing a second pillow to breathe easy when one always did the job, is a call to your doctor in the morning. Make it. Do not sit on it for a month. But sudden severe chest pain, chest pressure that will not let go, real trouble getting air, feeling like you are about to pass out, breaking into a cold sweat. That is not a morning phone call, and it is not a betting question. That is 911. Tonight. And you can be embarrassed about it later. Now look about 2 feet to the left of your head. The nightstand. There is a glass of water on it, with an inch left in the bottom. A lamp. A book you are 11 pages into. The reading glasses you keep meaning to put somewhere. And there are the bottles. 3 of them. Maybe 4. Before you go blaming the side you picked. There is one more age-related thing sitting right there in arm's reach. Some blood pressure medications. The calcium channel blockers work by relaxing smooth muscle. That is the whole point of them. That is how they bring your pressure down. The valve at the bottom of your esophagus happens to be smooth muscle too. In some people it relaxes right along with everything else. Certain nitrates do the same kind of thing. None of that makes the prescription wrong. That blood pressure drug is doing something a good deal more important than the valve is. What it means is that your 3 in the morning is not the same 3 in the morning you had at 45. And part of the reason is sitting 2 feet from your head doing exactly what it was designed to do. So do not stop anything. Do not move a dose an hour earlier because you heard this tonight. Somebody who knows your whole chart gets to make that call. And there is a decent chance the answer is that everything stays where it is. Bring it in as a question. Next appointment. When they ask if anything is going on, mention the burning at night and mention the bottles in the same breath. That is the whole ask. You are going back to sleep now. Still on your left. You will hold it almost 2 hours. And that is the longest stretch you get all night. Your shoulder is the one covering it. Your left arm is dead. Not painful. Dead. That thick, buzzing, not quite yours feeling. Like somebody left an arm in the bed and went home. You pull it out from under the pillow without ever coming fully awake. Shake it twice. Tuck it somewhere else. A minute later, there is pins and needles all the way out to your fingertips. And 30 seconds after that, you are gone again. You have done this a few hundred times. You have never once thought about it in daylight. So, here is the question that has been sitting in the back of your head since chapter 1. And it deserves an answer. If the left side is so good for you, why do you keep waking up with a numb arm? Because something has to hold you up. On your back. Your weight spreads across your shoulder blades. Your ribs. Your hips. The backs of your legs. Big surface. Plenty of places to put it. Come onto your side, and most of your upper body funnels down onto one shoulder, head, neck, chest, arm. All of it lands on one joint, on a surface that does not give much. And it stays there. And none of it moves. That is the part people miss. When you walk, the load on a joint comes and goes thousands of times. And every one of those is a little break. In bed, there is no coming and going. It is weight in one place for 2 hours, in a position you did not choose and cannot correct, because you are asleep. Your pillow is either helping with that or making it worse. Too flat and your head hangs down toward the mattress all night, and your neck spends 6 hours bent sideways. That is the crick you wake up with. The one where you cannot turn your head far enough to check your blind spot on the drive-in. Too tall, and it shoves your head up the other way. Same problem. Opposite direction. What you want is thick enough to fill the space between your ear and the mattress. So your neck runs straight out from your spine the way it does when you are standing up. Side sleepers usually need more pillow than they think they do. The arm under the head is the other half of it. And that is what put your hand to sleep at 5 this morning. You compress things that do not care to be compressed. For a couple of hours, with your skull sitting on top of them. Now, a numb arm that clears up in a few minutes and does not come back is a position problem. That is tonight. A hand that is still numb while you are standing at the counter waiting on the coffee. Or numbness that keeps showing up. Or any weakness in the grip. That is something else. And it can come from your wrist, or your elbow, or your neck. And it wants a look from a doctor rather than a different pillow. Then there is the shoulder that already has something wrong with it. Rotator cuff trouble. Arthritis. The one you had scoped 4 years ago. Bursitis that flares every winter. Past 50, this is everywhere. And most of the time, it never gets a name. People just know that one arm is the bad one. If your bad one is the left. This whole conversation changes shape. There is no amount of reflux benefit that pays for lying awake at 4 in the morning with a shoulder that aches. Sleep is worth more than position. And it is not close. I want to be careful how I put the next part, because it gets said badly all the time. If your shoulder is sound, one night on it is not what breaks it. What side sleeping reliably does is aggravate something that is already in there. It makes an existing problem louder overnight. The morning stiffness is a symptom of that problem, not proof that your mattress caused it. The research on whether sleeping position brings on shoulder trouble in the first place goes both directions and does not settle it. 3 adjustments take the pressure off, and none of them cost a dime. Get your arm out from under your head. Bring it forward instead. Out in front of you on the mattress. That one change handles most numb hands. Put a pillow in front of your chest and hug it. With nothing to hold. Your top shoulder rolls forward and drags your upper back and your neck along with it. Something to hold keeps your chest more or less square and takes the pull off. Put one more between your knees. Your top leg wants to slide forward and down. And when it goes, it takes your pelvis with it and puts a twist through your lower back. A pillow keeps the knees stacked and keeps the twist out. You end up with 3 pillows in the bed and it looks like a lot. Give it 4 nights before you decide. And do not fight your body when it wants to move. Turning over during the night is normal and it is good for you. The people who wake up sorest are usually the ones who manage to hold still. An hour and 15 minutes from now, the room starts getting light. You open your eyes before the alarm. The way you have for about 10 years now. The room is gray. There is enough light coming around the blind to make out the fan turning. And you lie there a second doing nothing at all. The way people do. Then notice where you are. You are on your right side, facing the window. Think back to 11:40 last night. You turned out the lamp and you rolled onto your left on purpose. You got your shoulder set. You got your arm out of the way. You were doing the thing you were told to do. You held it 24 minutes. After that you were on your right. Then your left. Then your right again. And you have no memory of a single one of those turns. You woke up twice, and neither time had anything to do with which side you were on. Nobody sleeps on their left side. Not the way that advice means it. Most adults turn over more times in a night than they would ever guess. And remember none of it. You turn when a shoulder gets sore. You turn when you get warm. You turn coming up out of a deep stage into a light one. And that happens several times a night, whether you like it or not. The side you wake up on is mostly wherever the last turn left you. So every version of sleep on your left side is asking for something a human body does not do. You cannot hold a position for 6 hours. Trying to is how a man ends up at 1 in the morning staring at the ceiling, wide awake, guarding his shoulder, mad at a video he watched. Here is the part that saves it. You do not need the whole night. You need the front of it. Go back to where your dinner was at midnight. Still in there. Still sitting in the bag with the door at the corner. The stretch right after the lamp goes off is the stretch you have any say over, because you are awake when it starts. It is also the stretch when a late dinner is still doing the most talking. Pick your side when you turn out the light. That is the instruction. And there is not a second half to it. What happens at 4 in the morning is not your department and was never going to be. 90 minutes, with that door up out of the water, beats 0 minutes of it. And 0 minutes is what you get on a night you go down on your right. Now, let me hand you the one that works better than any of this. Even though it is not what the title promised. Raise the head of your bed. Not more pillows. Pillows fold you in the middle and push on your stomach. And folding you in the middle is close to the opposite of what you want. Some people have made this worse for themselves for years doing exactly that. I mean the frame? Bed risers from the hardware store. The kind rated to hold a bed. Under the 2 legs at the head end, so the whole thing tilts. Not a stack of books. Not a couple of bricks. 4 to 6 inches is plenty. And you will barely feel it after the second night. Your wife will forget it is there by the end of the week. That tilt works all night. It does not care which side you are on. It does not care that you turned over at 2 in the morning. And it does not ask you to remember anything. For nighttime reflux, that is one of the better supported things you can do to a bedroom. And it keeps working after you roll over. So, who should bother with any of this? If you get burning at night, if you wake up with a sour taste, or a throat that feels scraped, or a cough that lives in the bedroom and clears by 10 in the morning, if your voice is rough for the first hour of the day, if your snoring is clearly worse flat on your back, and if you can lie on your left without your shoulder having something to say about it, that is the group where this is worth the $8 in risers and a week of paying attention. And who should leave it alone? If your left shoulder is the bad one, or you had it operated on, sleep on the shoulder that works. If lying on your left makes it harder to breathe, stay off it. Your body is telling you something, and it outranks anything you heard here. If you have new chest discomfort, new shortness of breath lying down, or a rhythm that has started acting differently, none of that is a bedding problem. Make the appointment. If you are on a CPAP, keep using it. And if chasing a position is costing you sleep, stop chasing it. The sleep is worth more. Give it 7 nights and keep it simple. The first 3. Change nothing. Go to bed the way you always do and just notice what the mornings are like. The next 4. Do 3 things. Eat dinner earlier. 3 hours before the lamp goes off, if you can manage it. Go down on your left when you turn off the light. Put a pillow between your knees and one in front of your chest to hug. Every morning, before you get out of bed, run 4 question. Is there a taste in your mouth? How many times did you come up during the night? What does your shoulder feel like? And ask your wife what she heard. That is it. You are not scoring yourself. You are collecting 4 pieces of information about your own body that you have never had. 7 mornings of that will tell you more than the entire internet will. Because the internet has no idea how your shoulder feels. Tomorrow night the lamp goes off at 11:40. You will roll onto your left the way you did tonight. You will hold it 20 minutes. Or 40. And then your body will start doing what it does. And you will not be consulted about any of it. At 3 in the morning you might hear your heart against the pillow. And now you will know that is a shorter trip and not a warning. Around 5, your arm might go dead again, and you will move it and go back to sleep. At 6:15, the room will get light, and you will be facing the window on your right shoulder. Same as this morning. None of that is going to change. And none of it needs to. You get a vote on 2 things. And both of them happen while you are still awake. What time you sat down to dinner. And which shoulder you were on when you reached over and turned off the lamp. The rest of the night belongs to your body. Those 2 belong to you.